This video introduces a set of geovisual analytic tools developed in the GeoVista Center at Penn State University. The GeoVista Center conducts basic and applied geoscience research, emphasizing geovisualization, geocomputation, GIS, HCI, and group work. The tools leverage and extend GeoVista Studio. Studio is a component-based application building environment, plus a set of visual and analytic components. In the following scenes, we illustrate use of our geovisual analytic methods to explore U.S. sales and employment data in 18 technology industries from 1992 through 2003.
Our first example focuses on changing sales by 18 industries over 12 years. Normalized sales data are clustered using a self-organizing map, or SOM. Size of SOM nodes depicts number of observations per cluster. Our Color Brewer Plus component generates a color scheme in which similar cluster nodes get similar colors and extremes get distinct hues. The Color Brewer Plus component provides flexibility for designing diverging color schemes. In addition to flipping and reorienting, we can choose among different geometric models as a basis for a scheme, adjust parameters of that model, and manipulate the number of color steps in each direction. Here we explore the temporal pattern of sales for the clusters occupying the four corners of the SOM solution. The red cluster includes defense, medical, plus test and measurement industries. We zoom in on the time series plot and notice a spike for defense in 1994 and a steep upswing for medical in 2002. This leads us to consider industry-product relationships. To do so, we derive normalized sales data for the 498 products in the database and feed the combined industry and product dataset into a new SOM. Mousing over the medical string in the top time series finds its cluster in the combined product industry SOM. The bottom time series shows products with a temporal pattern similar to the medical industry. Rescaling brings the joint relationships into focus. Products matching the medical industry well include veterinary services and surgical medical instrument manufacturing. Less obvious are manufacturing of electronic connectors and conveyor equipment. Potential industry connections are explored by adding an adjacent node. We find products ranging from air and gas compressors through motor vehicle air conditioning and wonder about the connections.
We focus in this segment on state-to-state company relocations. Each small map depicts a destination state in yellow and the number of companies moving from each donor state in green. Companies moving to California and Texas are, perhaps, less surprising than those to New York and Pennsylvania. Maps are arranged in a roughly geographic layout. This allows us to see that much of the East Coast has failed to attract companies, while the traditional Rust Belt has done better. The map matrix is complemented by a geographically organized, sortable attribute matrix. Each section matches states within or between 5 broad regions, with states ordered using a hierarchical cluster method. Darkness of cell fill signifies the number of company moves from row states into column states. The representation supports both overview and detail. For example, we see that more companies moved from the northeast to the southeast than the reverse, and that fewer companies moved from New York to New Jersey than the reverse. It is also possible to focus in on any region pair and to investigate the states with a particularly high influx of companies.
In this session, we focus on how industry composition changed over time. We select some adjacent regions, which are Kansas, Colorado, Oklahoma, and Texas from 1993 to 2003 as shown in the matrix. We notice the color of selected cells becomes similar, indicating some similar pattern has developed. Initially, the industry composition is different among the 4 states. Colorado did not have a dominant industry, while Kansas focused on the transportation industry. Texas and Oklahoma had some amount of energy industry, but it is not the dominant one in Texas. From 1996, Colorado started to focus on telecommunications, which accounted for 30 to 40% of its total that year as shown in the pie chart. In 1999, Kansas also switched to the telecom industry, which accounted for 53% of the state's annual industry total. It also replaced transportation as the dominant industry in Kansas since then. During the same period, both Oklahoma and Texas shift much of their attention to the energy industry, which has respectively accounted for over 50% of the state's industry total for most of the time from 1997 to 2003.